It was there in person, so I just froze. I didn't know what to do, what my next move was. And hey guys, so I just about finished my first month of my software developer job, and I just wanted to kind of have like a little bit of a journal and look back at what I've learned, what I've started. This one's not gonna be the typical scripted one. I'm just gonna say whatever I remember, and I wrote down a couple notes about some of the things I remember from the first week, second week, and third week, and then I'm just gonna go down that list and just talk about that. So yeah, let's try to make this like a monthly kind of schedule. Maybe I might forget. I'll try to keep that journal going, and let's get started. So right off the bat, first day, I go into the office and I meet my manager, my manager's manager, and my fellow developer that was there. And yeah, we just talked pretty much the first day, and didn't really do much work. Of course, they gave me my laptop, my monitor, and my phone. I'm actually apparently I'm on call, which I didn't know at the beginning, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It's like we go on rotations every one person goes on rotation a week. So, and there's like 5 of us, and so like it's like once every 5 weeks or something like that. So it's not that big of a deal for me. One of the first things my manager got me doing is setting up my GitHub to connect to their repo. So they have a company repo that I had to connect to, and then just kind of browsing the code base and some of the data sets that they were using. Another thing I did that first week is that they have some training videos that they have. It was just like basically they had a contractor that they were working with, and they had like pre-recordings of explaining the business logic and some of the code that was in some of the code base. So I was just pretty much following that, and like 11 hours of video that I had to get through. But it was definitely a good overview of what the company offered, what I really had to learn, what I really had to focus on, and things like that. So it was good. It was good that they had that set up for me. So in terms of where I was working that first week, my manager wanted me to come in a little bit more than usual. Generally I'll be working from home, but that first couple weeks, he wanted me to come in a couple times a week. So I went in the Monday and the Wednesday. So that's how my first week went. So second week, it was more generally familiarizing myself with the code base, seeing where everything is. And for front end in general, they were using JavaScript and HTML, CSS, and things like that. But the project I was going to be onboarded on was to use React on the front end, since I'm a front end developer. And in terms of the back end, they also use PostgreSQL and Node.js to connect to the back end. So it was things I was kind of already familiar with. So that was really something that I was kind of relieved about, because just as you know, as you guys know, coming in as a self-taught developer, you kind of still have doubts about your skills and what you can do. But as soon as I saw some of the code and was like kind of familiar with what was going on, it felt pretty good just being able to go through that. So the second week, right off the bat, I got a small task to do. I guess it was taking their previous report page and making it a React type of way. So they had an idea of what the styling was supposed to be. Normally they work with a contractor to create the CSS and HTML, and I would use that to create the new page using React. The contractor didn't have the template yet, so I just kind of went off on my own and tried to do some of the logic beforehand. All I had to do was import the styling and things afterwards. So I started with that, and I got the logic down. It was pretty fun. Doing the actual coding part was really fun and interesting, because up until that point, for 6 months, I was coding without really getting paid. And once I really got into the coding part, it was really exciting to know that people were getting paid to code. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been at another job or worked somewhere else, but coming from construction, working as a project management person in construction versus just being a coding person, there's so much more things to learn, and it's a lot less stress. So eventually, probably around the Wednesday of that second week, the designer got back to us and he gave us the styling and everything. So I incorporated that into what I already had, and was able to kind of import my logic with their styling, and it worked out pretty good. So that first coding project was solid, was really solid for me. So that was the end of week. So onto week 3, I moved on to another page of the web application that I had to code up. But this one, my senior developer already kind of went ahead and did all the styling and things like that. So it was more a matter of putting the logic in. So I was responsible for some of it, where he already did some of the coding. And this is where I really felt like it was a little bit challenging, since this is the first time I wasn't working on something from scratch. I actually had to look at what his code was and just kind of understand how he did his code and be able to incorporate my coding style with his. So the code was fluid basically. Just learning the business logic was a little bit tough for me too, and matching it with how the code was flowing. Without the senior developer helping me that week, it would have been really tough for me to even get through the simpler parts of it. And I think they taught me like the simpler side of the page that I had to do. It's not that I was intimidated or like down about it. It was good to know that I had that help and support from my senior developer going into the project. So, but eventually I got it working and everything like that, and things went good that week. There was also another interesting thing that happened. Like we were working with React hook forms, and for some reason I think the senior dev assumed that I've already worked with it and I was already experienced with it. So as I was talking to him, getting help from him, he was kind of like rambling on and telling me what I should be coding up and how it was. So he was talking, he was waiting for me to code, and he was there in person, so I just froze. I didn't know what to do, what my next move was, and eventually he realized I wasn't familiar with React hooks, and he just told me to go through the documentation, and once I went through it, it was fine. Like reading through the documentation and kind of seeing it already implemented, it was really easy to pick it up after that. So that was my first scare when it came to like kind of having that imposter syndrome, but after that it was fine. It was smooth sailing. They're really nice, so once you get through that initial setup of like them gauging what your skills are and what you're capable of doing, then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. And then week 4 was pretty much Christmas time, and no one was really doing any work at that point. So we had a Christmas party, we went and I met a lot of other people that are working in the business, and yeah, it was overall a good time. Don't have any complaints about the first month of my journey, first month of my very long journey that I expect to have you guys join me and continue along with it. So I hope I can see more of you guys getting those jobs, those junior developer jobs, and just helping you guys and seeing that progress and showing you guys how I'm progressing is kind of the type of community I want to build. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.